Hey guys, how's it going? Jared Bronstein here, and welcome to another video here for you on Life's Biggest Questions. Today we'll be answering the question, what if you met a time traveler from the future? Before we do, make sure to subscribe, click that bell icon, and let me know in the comments down below what you'd ask someone from the future. I'll be replying to some of your more interesting comments at the end of this video as well, so be sure to stick around for that. And as always, drop us some comments below with other videos you'd like to see on our channel. You never know when you'll see your question pop up as a video on here. So time travel, is it possible? Wouldn't we all like to know? Unfortunately, as far as we're concerned, it's not. But we don't always know for sure what's going on behind closed doors. Not to say that it is possible, but even if it were, we wouldn't know immediately. I mean, as they say, with great power comes great responsibility. And having the knowledge to time travel is in fact possible, well, that in itself is quite powerful. So what if you actually met someone from the future? What would that mean for you today? What would that mean for the future? Let's find out. Time travel seems to be an intriguing subject that's been discussed for years. It's been seen in popular movies and TV shows, books, comics, you name it, it's been done. But if you met someone from the future, it wouldn't be all sunshine and rainbows. Although the idea may seem cool, it could actually get you into a lot of trouble. There are so many variables and things we need to look at when talking about time travel, and we will. But for now, let's look at the logistics of it. Time is an interesting thing. More specifically, it's all relative to speed. Einstein was able to figure this out with his famous theory, which truthfully was quite confusing to understand. But I will try my best to put it in simple terms. Time passes at different rates for people moving relative to one another. The effects are only really seen when moving close to the speed of light. An example would be what's called the twin paradox. The idea here is that if you look at a set of twins, had one stay on Earth and one venture out into space on an extremely high-speed spaceship, their time would be different. For what may feel like 5 years to the twin in space, going at extremely high speeds could be 10 or 15 years on Earth. It sounds confusing, and that's because it is. Truthfully, I don't fully understand it myself, but I hope I did it some justice. If you are well informed on the subject, help us all out in the comment section down below. Either way, it seems the only way to travel back in time would be to go faster than the speed of light, which is impossible. Technically speaking, that means time travel forward could be possible, but backwards, not so much. So what does that mean for our time traveler? It's from the future, but traveled back in time from the future. This could mean a few things. Either somehow, some way, it did go faster than the speed of light, something we didn't think was possible, and would require us to completely change almost everything we know about time in general. There's also the possibility it's not human, maybe a different species which is capable of inhumane things. Magic of sorts. Either way, this specimen would be of peak interest to many governments around the world. So for starters, even by coming into contact with this thing, whatever it may be, technically you could be considered a criminal. Now it may sound crazy, you're not doing anything wrong, you simply met a time traveler. But odds are you wouldn't go to the police or government officials, you'd have some questions. Finders keepers, right? Well, the government or law enforcement may not feel the same way, but what they don't know can't hurt them, so let's keep moving along. Say you befriend this time traveler. There are so many questions you could technically ask it. What happens to the world in 10 years? Who will you marry? How do you die? Of course, the time traveler may or may not have the answers you're looking for. We're not talking about a godly figure here. It's a time traveler. It could be a different species altogether, or a future version of someone halfway across the world. It's not necessarily a futuristic version of yourself or your best friend. So to have the notion that you could ask it anything and everything about your personal life, unfortunately, probably wouldn't work out in your favor. You'd also have to make the decision what you want it to do. Out the time traveler to the government? Will they believe you? Or think you're crazy? Do you just move along with your life and pretend it never happened? These are all questions relative to you and you alone. We're all different and make our own choices, so I can't answer that for you. What I can answer though is how the time traveler would change life as we know it. Time travel seems to intrigue so many people over the years, including cosmologist Stephen Hawking, who threw a party for time travelers. The way the party worked, Hawking didn't send out invitations until after the party. His theory was if people did show up to the party without receiving an invitation, they must be time travelers. Although no one showed up, not all hope was lost for Hawking. In his book Brief Answers to the Big Question, Hawking wrote, "Rapid space travel and travel back in time can't be ruled out according to our present understanding. Science fiction fans need not lose heart. There is hope in M theory. The M theory suggests our universe could contain 7 hidden dimensions on top of the 4 dimensions of space-time, which are length, width, height, and time. Now, if it were possible to go forward in time, and clearly it's possible to go back in time, according to your new time-traveling friend, what would that mean for the rest of the world? It could be quite scary. Remember what I was saying with great power comes great responsibility? Well, think of it like this. Everything is the way it currently is, right now, as you sit and watch this video, because of what previously happened in the past. If every single one of those things, from the catastrophic events like the Ice Age, all the way to the time you stubbed your toe 3 months ago, if all of those things hadn't happened, you wouldn't be where you currently are. It sounds quite convoluted, but it's true. Meaning, for the time traveler, by traveling back in time, he may actually be changing his future. This is something that would need to be taken into consideration for anyone time traveling. And although maybe only the time traveler would notice a difference from their old world to their new one, post-time travel, nothing would ever be the same as it once was. But to say that anyone and everyone could time travel wouldn't be very realistic if someone were to meet a time traveler. What would seem to be the most important information of all was how they did it. Was it a time machine? Was it a machine that allowed them to bend space and time? Or do they physically have some sort of power that allows them to do so? Meeting a time traveler would change everything we know about science and everything as we know it, really. Would you take the chance of traveling to the future with the risk that you may not be able to get back to the exact time you left? It seems like a confusing idea to get around, but really think about it. If you traveled forward 5 or 10 years from this exact moment, how would you be able to travel back to the exact same time you originally left? In the time it took you to go 5 or 10 years into the future, it might be 20 or 30 years time on Earth. Everything would be older. Your family and friends, the Earth itself, literally everything. But you would only be 5 or 10 years older compared to when you originally left. Unfortunately, if you were to meet a time traveler, you'd have a lot of questions to answer for yourself. Of them, most importantly, you'd have to ask yourself if you're willing to risk your entire life possibly seeing the future, or if you'll just notify the authorities and let them deal with it however they feel is appropriate. As big of a life or death question as it may be, you can continue pondering it for as long as you'd like because it's all in good fun. As far as we understand, time travel is simply not possible. Unless one can travel the speed of light or faster, which is impossible, then time travel will never be a realistic idea. Yet things have changed in the past and will continue to change as we do more research. So maybe one day time travel will be possible. Who knows? What I want to know is, if you met a time traveler, what question would you ask them? Let me know in the comments down below. For now, let's reply to some comments from the video. What if everyone on Earth planted one tree? 7 billion trees. Kiana Urquhart said, Bill Gates can buy a whole forest. He could buy whatever he wants. He's the richest man on Earth, isn't he? I think he's more rich than Bezos now. What if all adults vanished? That'd be bad. Kids can't run the world. Diptraumatic Relations said, how many trees would it take to stop climate change? I don't know if there's an exact answer for that. They say we're at the point where it's like non-reversible now, so it seems like we're all kind of just waiting for it to happen inevitably. And by it, I mean just like the end of the world. Like climate change is happening on a daily basis. Like even while I record this and while you guys watch it, it's happening, and there's not really much we could do about it. So plant as many trees as you want, but I think unfortunately we've all dug our own grave. Anyways, guys, that does it for this one. Make sure to subscribe and click that bell to never miss a video. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and of course, share this video with your friend to let them know what would happen if they met a time traveler. I've been your host, Jared Bronstein. You guys have been watching Life's Biggest Questions, and we'll see you guys in the next video.